What brought me back to the island and what brings a lot of people back to this island is love.
I didn't know what Martha's Vineyard was.
When you first came, you're a stranger.
I was very eager to learn, the culture.
You're paying the bills in the wintertime.
I can say about that.
And before that, I had some accidents in Ecuador.
When was it that you moved to Martha's Vineyard?
Was 2018.
2018. Oh, so you're fairly new.
Kind of.
Right. So what would you say motivated your decision to move to the island?
Because I love, I already have family in here, and I already been here from 2004, 2007. So like, I don't know, 20 years ago, I was already have the experience to be here. And I came back because now I'm a mom, and I say I want to raise my kids on the vineyard, the place they already know, and I'm fascinated for this place. I just love to be here. I never get used to be here, and I'm feeling grateful every day because I think it's a blessing to be able to be here and raise my kids here.
My husband and I and our kids moved to the vineyard in 2011.
Okay.
I want to say. So we've been here for a good period of time.
Right.
And coming here, living here, there was no sense of the culture, the Caribbean culture, the diversity that it wasn't really there. Now, over the past few years, it's really grown.
I moved to the States around 30 years ago.
Okay.
I spent my first 2 years in Boston, in Somerville, where my wife used to live. I became my wife. She used to live there, and then we moved to the island.
Right. So have you lived in Martha's Vineyard all year round for
Yes.
the last 30 years?
Yeah. Since we moved, we stayed here. And we were still lucky to, when we first moved to the island, her mother used to own a house with apartments. That's where we moved. But we don't like the idea to rent in the summer, then you move in the winter, rent in the summer, rent this. So we have that chance to be stable for year round. We keep going until fortunately we were able to afford to buy a little house.
Nice.
To rewind a little bit, in 2010, I was graduating culinary school. And I went to culinary school in upstate New York. So that's kind of like my immigrant story starts in culinary school in upstate New York because I went from Dominican Republic to upstate New York to study baking and pastry. And I wanted to become a pastry chef. So I went to the best school that I could go to. And I did an associate's degree there in New York. And then at the end of your career, you know how college, they do like career fairs. And so basically there was a career fair and my old chef was there and they were like, well, we're looking for a cook that could do a little baking. And I said, well, I'm a baker that could do a little cooking. And so they're like, do you want to come live on Martha's Vineyard? I said, have no idea where this is, but there's free housing.
Same answer I had. I was like, where is this?
Where is this? But they said free housing. And I said, great, that sounds great. And I was so I had come to the US through I think it was like an F1 visa, the student visa.
Same thing.
And so I was an international student in culinary school. And when you get a student visa, they give you the opportunity to buy a work visa for a year. And I remember it was like $300. And I was like, great, I'll just get this work visa. And it was a year. So I said, great, I'll come to Martha's Vineyard. And Vineyard Golf Club gave me a job. And if we fast forward to last year, I was at Vineyard Golf Club for 12 years. Nice. So I grew, and I came to the vineyard under that like work visa, and I worked for the season. And I worked May through October, but I still had a little bit of like my work visa left. So I left and I worked at other places. But then what brought me back to the island and what brings a lot of people back to this island is love. So I met my husband. My husband still works at Vineyard Golf Club, and he is the sous chef there. And so we met that first year, we started dating, fell in love, and here we are.
It's been 42 years
Yeah.
since I came to the United States.
And it was the south of the United States where I went. I was a student there. Then 30 years ago, I was married.
Mm.
And then with a child and another one on the way. And my former husband was from the East Coast. To me, the East Coast didn't mean much. I was already away from home,
Mm.
from what we call, home, where you were raised. So I was like, okay, this is my family now. So we come here, and it's been 30 years now.
Mm.
So he wanted to be near home. I was already far away from home. So I said, that's okay. But it wasn't my choice. I didn't know where Martha's Vineyard was.
Mm.
And when I came here, it was sunny. It was warm. It was summer, 1993.
Yes, I didn't know about Martha's Vineyard. My sister came first. She married a Brazilian man. And she said, oh, you can find a job here. It's a nice place. It's very safe for the kids. And before that, I had some accidents in Ecuador. Then a delinquent pushed me and pushed my son to the floor, and he was bleeding. So we have an awful accident there. So, and then after that, we decided to come here. Yeah.
Have you felt welcomed on Martha's Vineyard? Did you feel that the Martha's Vineyard community was welcoming enough for you?
Yes, very welcoming.
Yeah.
I was surprised,
Right?
because I wasn't expecting that almost, yeah, in every place that I went, everybody was, even without my language skills, they try to help me, and they were speaking like slowly, and they try to figure out the ways how to interact with me, and always smiling and kindness, very kind. Yeah.
Here in the island, when you first came, you're a stranger.
Mm.
In the community, when you start to meet people and you get involved with the people,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to start kind to open. But it's always some moment when you are a foreign person, you're an immigrant.
So it took time
Mhm.
to integrate into the island life.
You can like I'm really like a social person.
Mm-hmm.
I like to participate in all kind of events that is in the island. So I start to be the voice for those days when I first moved was a good amount of Latin American people living in the island, and because were illegal, they are afraid to go out and present themselves. It's always the chance that the police is going to stop you because you are driving illegally.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving illegally. You do something wrong, they're going to stop you. It's not that. So they don't move and they don't participate. So myself, I came legally all the time. I became like the voice for different events where we need to be represented and make our voice heard. What are our needs like immigrants, and I was always
Right.
participating in that.
How did you get here to the US? Did you take a flight? Did you choose the road route?
I can say about that too,
Okay.
because I tell you later.
So basically, I flew from the Dominican Republic. I remember my parents saying goodbye to me because I was going to culinary school, and I don't know about India, but in the Dominican Republic, you don't leave your parents' home until you're married.
Right.
And I was going to college. Like, I went to college in the Dominican Republic, but I stayed at home.
Yeah.
So it was my first time leaving home. I was 24. So I came to the U.S. first to New York, and then I came to Martha's Vineyard. And I did the whole, got on a bus, got on a boat, got all these things. Never imagined that I would live in a place that was so hard to get to.
Yeah, I got a flight.
Flight.
Yeah, I
Nice.
came to New York and then here.
Nice.
during a winter time.
Mm.
I always remember because it was really cold.
Mm.
We don't have that weather in Ecuador. It's really hot there.
Same
so
thing.
that was the
I am from
big
Mumbai, right?
difference.
So it's a very hot and humid
Yes.
in Mumbai.
Yes.
I can totally relate.
Yes. And then here it was cold. It wasn't trees. I didn't see the trees. It was almost all the same, white.
Mm.
Yeah, it was winter time.
Welcoming, you know, and then winter comes.
Mm.
That's a different story.
The New England winter.
The New England winter. And I didn't really know what it was
Yeah.
like. All those leaves fall
Mm.
and there are no more flowers. That was not a surprise, but I was like, now what?
Mm.
Where is life? This plant right here
Yeah.
has been with me for 30 years
30
now in the
years.
fall.
It's older than me.
And there were so many plants in my house that winter. I remember my son was born in October of the year that I moved here. And my grandmother came with my mother, and they spent 3 months with me here,
Mm-hmm.
helping me. And my mother was making curtains, my grandmother was cooking, and my daughter, who's now 32, was only 2 years old, and my baby boy was born in October.
Mm.
So that's it was almost like organic,
Right.
slowly.
I mean, so there's this one question that you yourself raised, like, where you went like, what do I do after things have like dimmed down on the island, when it's no more the summer, when it's no more sunny outside, it's winter time, it's getting dark outside. So what did you find in that time of the year that made you feel at home or like close to home?
Well, that's a very good question because I was not prepared for that. I didn't have the clothes. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know what it was like to dress with layers and dress my children, dress myself. That was a challenge. It was, but I was so busy being a mom. And at that point, we had brought a business with us. So we had the business with us in the house, and we were busy.
Mm-hmm.
I would work in the evenings into the night, and my life was busy. Learning how to cook in the winter. I remember my grandmother teaching even my mom, how to make the proper rice. I had never really cooked for a family.
Mm-hmm.
I was just learning to be a caretaker, a mother, working. So I was so busy that I did not feel bored. I did not feel alone.
The winter is like a ghost town. You know, like most of the towns, one or two restaurants open year round, like shopping stores, they close. There's no business,
No business.
and you can see business. They open by the third year. If they are doing good, time to renew your contract,
Right.
and the landlord occasionally
Yeah.
gonna cost you more.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to be working for the landlord, but you need to work really, really hard here.
Mm.
If you don't own the space where you have your business,
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult. And the demand,
Mm.
that motivates the landlords to increase the prices, and they know that they're going to have somebody
So it definitely is very slow. It's very different. I think the off season is what you make of it, as with anything, right? So, so my husband and I, yes, we do spend a lot of time here in the off season, but we'll take 2 months out of the off season and we'll travel. We'll go on road trips. We'll go visit my family in Spain, my family in Miami, the Dominican Republic. It is that time to like really visit family. It's a really, I mean, it's lonely, but I love it because like I'm a homebody. So yes, I mean, we've seen so many people May through October. I don't need to see a lot of people October through April. So it's really a time to just do like projects. It's a good time to like catch up on all the things that you haven't done in the summer.
When we moved here, whatever 10, 12 years ago, it was definitely more quiet. I mean, I remember even the boats. You were guaranteed to just go out there. I never even really made reservations. I would just go out, stand by, knew I was getting on. Now it's definitely become more challenging, and having the business and having to get goods coming on and off the boat, it's difficult. Wintertime, a little quieter than summer, but it's busy. I would say that it's still a little bit of a struggle. You're paying the bills in the wintertime. There's no profit. Let's say that. In the summertime, it's better in that sense. But, it's busy. I still find that it's a little busy.
So it was a huge shocking for me because like the culture, the way, especially I'm from a very, very small town in Brazil. And so the culture, like the way the American culture was, like it was shocked for me, like when type of food, like how things work in here, the system. So it was completely different for me. Now I love it because I'm used to it and I see like this is the best thing ever. But definitely was a huge cultural like I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm into. But it was beautiful as well. But it was definitely the beach as well. Like was say, what kind of beach is there? You know what I mean? We're so used to have palms like in the beach, no rocks, so it was very different. So you get it. You end up getting used to.
Right. And what, like you were speaking about the cultural differences, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the cultural differences that you experienced when you first moved here?
I know this is ridiculous, but for example, in Brazil, you never have you never have pizza for lunch. And the kids was going to school, they will have that. I say, no, we don't do that. Like iced coffee, like my first experience, and I'm Brazilian, so I'm obsessed with coffee. And they say, who drinks iced coffee? Nobody does that. So was that too, was very different. And what else? And the weather, definitely the weather. Like Brazil is a very warm country, like every day, like all entire year. And came here with snow. I say, wow, that's what looks like feeling really cold or freezing.
Yeah.
So.
That was my reaction as well because I come from Mumbai in India, right? And I moved to Boston in January 2022. Like the worst time to move to Boston. It was so cold, it was freezing, and then I was like, what did I sign up for? Why did I sign up for this? And then so yeah, that was my first experience, like American winters, Boston winter.
Because I came here, I was 18 years old. So I actually, I lived on the farm until I was 10 years old. And then I moved to the city and we ran a supermarket from 10 to 18. And then I came here. And so I did have a very strong work ethic because our family still does today, work 7 days a week. And but the one thing, I think the one thing that helped me a lot, because I was very eager to learn, the culture. First I was in Boston for a couple of months. Then I came here, and I started learning and started being part of the community.
It feels like at some point you have two homes.
When I try to bring my kids to the visitor visa, they always deny me.
The only time I had one lady saying something that sounded a little bit discriminating, but I didn't care. Totally didn't care. This was like 10 years ago.